Studies minor, and I am a senior. I really hope that y'all can gain some real connections and authentic um, relationships filled with cariño that you will continue to build on and come back and return to make stronger throughout your time here at San Jose State. I'd like to introduce my compañero Edwin.
Hello, thank you so much, Andy, for that introduction. My name is Edwin Sanchez. I'm one of the student success leaders at Centro. If this is your first Bienvenida, I would like to welcome you. You have been here for 3, 2, 4. Thank you so much for joining us and for coming again. And without further ado, we can go into the agenda of what we will be doing today.
Naya.
Next slide, please. All right, thank you. So for today, we have a welcome from Dr. Magdalena Vereda, followed by another welcome by Dr. Marcos Pizarro, followed by a welcome from associated students from Ashley Guerrero. Next, we will be doing an intro to Centro and to Chicano studies. Then we will have our keynote speaker, Rosanna Alvarez, followed by the highlight of tonight, which is going to be our breakout rooms. So I urge everyone to stay and participate. You'll be able to get to know some amazing people and also build comunidad during these breakout rooms. We'll come back into a group reflection, and then we will end up with the closing. So now, welcome Dr. Magdalena Vereda to the stage. Dr. Magdalena Vereda is a professor of Chicano studies, where she taught classes in Chicanx history, literature, film, and comparative ethnic studies. Since last year, Dr. Vereda has been serving as the inaugural vice provost for faculty success. What this means is she is a campus leader who helps SJSU recruit and retain diverse faculty who are committed to student success. Dr. Vereda is proud to be a granddaughter of Mexican railroad and factory workers who settled in the Midwest and is the first in her family to attend college. She is currently co-authoring her first book, The Latinx Guide to Grad School, which helps first-generation Latinx students prepare and succeed in master and PhD programs. So if everyone can unmute and give a round of applause for Dr. Vereda, take it away. Woo!
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll take those woos. One sounded kind of wild and desperate, but I like it. Okay, so welcome everyone, faculty, staff, students to this Bienvenida. Yeah. I am so honored to welcome you to this event because this community that we have at Centro has really been the key to my feeling connected to SJSU and to know that together we make a difference for each other and that we're here to succeed and always support each other and moving adelante. I'm thinking about this year, everything that we've been through, and what I'm most excited about right now, having you here this fall, is really thinking about our transition back from working and studying remotely. It's so amazing to see our campus filled with students again, because you are the ones who bring new life, new energy, new ideas to our campus. And without amazing students like you, SJSU can't be what it is. And we're here for you and for your success. I joined SJSU in 2008 as a brand new professor in Chicano studies. And right now, as you heard, I'm working in the office of the provost. And if I were in your shoes, I remember when I was a first gen college student trying to figure this out, I know that I would be thinking, I really don't know what that means, ladies. So let me tell you. The provost is someone who's in charge of academic affairs. It's the largest division on our campus, serving all of the faculty and students and supported by a wide number of staff. The provost makes really important decisions that impact faculty teaching and research, which in turn has an impact on shaping your academic experience while you're here at SJSU. And so my role in the Office for Faculty Success is to help the provost recruit and retain diverse faculty who are prepared to bring you really excellent educational experiences that you deserve, so that you can figure out your intellectual passions and the career pathways that are going to be meaningful to you. So in that way, I'm still supporting student success, even though I'm not in the classroom. And if you're any of my former students here, who know of taking classes with me just know how much I miss you and how much I miss being in the classroom, but it's exciting to be professionally in this new role. So Lily has asked me to share a piece of advice for students seeking connection and community. My advice to those students is put yourself out there. Don't worry about seeming nervous, uncool, not knowing the right perfect words. Maybe you don't want to come across as being a little extra. You know what? Who cares? I want to encourage you to reach out genuinely, always speak from your heart. Take the risk of kind of putting yourself out there, connecting to someone new, whether it's a student next to you in class, if you're in a face-to-face class, just saying, hey, you know, how are things going? Just strike up conversations. And I know that you will make the right connections that are going to be meaningful to you. And I want to remind you that your parents already taught you how to do that, because you know that when we roll up to a party, you can't go straight to the food. You got to go around and shake everyone's hand. So do that in your class, meet your professors, meet whoever's around. You don't have anything to lose. A piece of advice for the faculty who are seeking to connect with students is please just remember what it was like when you were a student. Be the professor whom you needed back in the day. And please don't wait for students to have the courage to reach out to you, but really always remember to proactively reach out to them after class. Say, hey, hang out a minute. And I really love what you had to say today. You know, you come by and talk to me in office hours sometime. Let's get more into this, right? Just put yourself out there as well. So Lily also instructed me that in honor of Latinx Heritage Month to identify one person whom I would like to honor who has contributed to your success. It's a big list here. And I'm not saying this only because he's speaking next, but I want to give my shout out to Dr. Marcos Pizarro. The reason why he's on my mind and I want to highlight him is because I recently had the privilege of meeting with our two new Chicano Studies faculty, Dr. Christine Vega and Dr. Johnny Ramirez. And I found myself reminiscing, putting on my old lady hat and telling them about stories about back in the day when I was a new professor and I had to walk 20 miles in the snow to school and all that. And I just had me thinking about how Marcos was my senior colleague. He was the head of our department. And whenever I ran into his office with a crisis, a challenge, some kind of freak out, which was very often, he was always calm, good-natured, very patient, walked me through the steps, and he always had good advice to keep me advancing in my career. And so I'm really fortunate to have him continue as my colleague today. So Marcos, heart out, shout to you. Thank you very much for all you've done. But that it's a long list of folks, and I'm grateful to everyone. We can't do what we are here to do alone. It's impossible. So we got to be here for each other, and I'm here for all of you. So welcome.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Barrera, for beautiful, beautiful words and words of wisdom. Take up the space. What? That's what I heard. I don't know how y'all are feeling right now, but thank you so much, Dr. Barrera. Having graduated from one of your courses, I can definitely say that, you know, you practice what you preach. And I appreciate you for holding space for your students to take up the space that they need and that they deserve. Muchas gracias. And without further ado, I would love to introduce Dr. Marcos Pizarro. Unmute your mics and let's hear it. All right, thank you folks for the energy. We're vibing off each other. So Marcos Pizarro is Associate Dean of the College of Education and a Professor of Chicanx Studies at San Jose State University. Marcos's work in the College of Education includes facilitating an anti-racist, anti-ableist, abolitionist inquiry to action group and co-creating and co-coordinating the Ethnic Studies residency program that prepares future ethnic studies teachers. His research and community work has focused on supporting Chicanx and Latinx students and teachers to develop strategies for thriving in school and building social and racial justice in their communities. I could spend probably another hour talking about the contributions that Dr. Marcos has contributed to our community and to our students. Having taken 2 classes from him myself, I'd like to agree with Dr. Barrera and just, you know, piggyback and say that Dr. Marcos Pizarro, you changed my life with your pedagogy, with your way of being and teaching. And it is such an honor to be in community with you tonight.
Ooh, what a nice intro. Andy, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. It's just great to feel your energy even across these like internet tubes. And Magdalena, thank you for the shout out. Appreciate it. Yeah, I want to see your old lady hat. You said you're going to put on your old lady hat. I want to see you put it on. Go find it. So my job is to do a little bit of a welcome, say what's up, everybody. Welcome to San Jose State. Welcome to the Centro, virtually, of course. But I'm really excited to bring back our students, our staff, and our faculty. I see so many familiar faces. I want to encourage you to turn your cameras on if you can. If you can't, that's okay. But if you can, because we're trying to build community, and it's hard to build community when I don't know what you look like. But I see some faces out there that I recognize. Good to have you here, Jorge, Yesenia, Sandra, Michael, Rosa. Just good to see people. So like Andy said, I'm Marcos. I've been at San Jose State for 22 years. I think this is the start of year 23. I am a professor in Chicanx studies. That means I teach classes in Chicanx studies. They're really, really fun. We had class last night. It was a good session, I think. And I'm also the associate dean for the College of Ed. So that means I do different things. Sometimes it's just pushing papers around, but sometimes it's supporting faculty, supporting students, building programs. We're trying to change the way teacher education happens, teacher preparation, counselor preparation, leader preparation in schools. We want schools to be the schools that our grandparents dreamed of for us. So that's kind of what I do. I'm really excited to be back on campus because I thrive on being in community with folks. So it's just been really nice being in person in class, being at the Centro for the last few weeks. It's really given me life. So a question for you all is like, what are you really excited about? What has been giving you life since we started back in the semester? I just put it in the chat. You could also drop something in the chat. Let us know how you're doing, how you're feeling. And if you're not feeling great, it's okay to say that too, and to let us know what it is that you're needing. My work at the Centro has focused on supporting students in both formal and informal ways, like our retreat, some of the sessions that I've done for that. In the past, it's also included, like we've done gender support groups, we've done workshops for grad school, we've brought in speakers to share their stories and their paths as models for our students. But my favorite thing has always been like the informal, the unplanned conversations where we might be sitting down 10:30 a.m. on a Tuesday talking about colorism or talking about gender issues in our community or the challenges of our families and the ways in which they support us. And just building a community of cariño here on campus. It's helped me really understand our students, their genius, their strength, and the ways in which we can be a collective community of support for each other. So yeah, and one of my greatest joys really has been when we've shared like these concepts, these big ideas from our work and research, and students have not only taken them in, but they've been able to apply them in their lives, whether that's thinking about imposter syndrome, unpacking racial microaggressions, using our families, community, cultural wealth, like Professor Barrera was talking about. It's all like really so much fun. So we're also wondering, what have you been I can't track the chat right now. I'm going to follow up after I finish talking here, but I can't talk and read the chat at the same time and not look like a fool. So I won't do that. But we've also wondering, like, what have been your greatest takeaways from the Centro, right? And or what do you want or need? So drop that in the chat if you haven't already. We'd love to see that. Okay, so I got to keep it moving here because I'm supposed to have only 5 minutes and I think I'm at like 3.5 right now. Lily asked me to share a piece of advice for students seeking connection and community. So like Professor Barrera, we kind of are going to say the same thing, really. But it's number one, don't do what I did. And what that means is take risks. Take the chance that someone else is also looking for new friendships. Introduce yourself to new people, whether that's in class or in the Centro. Ask them questions and be honest. Be your full and authentic self. That's what we want to see. So when Barrera says, it's okay to be a little extra. Yeah, it's okay to be hella extra. Go ahead. That's what we want. And so Lily also asked me to share a piece of advice for faculty seeking to connect with students. And I would say similarly, be real. be vulnerable, share your challenges and your shortcomings along your own journey, so that students don't think you're a unicorn, right? So the students can like understand you're a real person who's been through some of the same things that I've been. Show them that you're a reflection of them, and then learn to look through their eyes. So, I mean, I could talk a lot about all that stuff, but I'm nearing the end of my time, and I want to do the last request that Lily had, which was to in honor of Latinx Heritage Month, identify a person you'd like to honor who's contributed to your success. And so there's a lot of people, like Magdalena said, there's a lot of people that I could talk about, but I'm just going to reference my two uncles, my dad's two brothers, my Uncle Lawrence and my Uncle Richard. My Uncle Richard, they're both beautiful men, both loving, caring men who did so much to show me what it looks like to be a caring Mexican man, father. And they went down different paths. You know, my Uncle Richard got caught up in addiction, and it led to, ending his life abruptly, and not in the way that I think he would have envisioned, or my grandmother would have envisioned for him. And my Uncle Lawrence, followed the military and became a colonel in the Air Force, and then also like went on and just had this love and passion for learning, and taught math at a community college, and did all these things that people didn't think that he could do. And so it's that combination of the two of them really made it possible for me to envision myself in this unbelievable job that I never even knew existed until I kind of got into it. So that's me, that's us, that's what we do. Thank you all. We love you. We appreciate you. We want you to keep doing what you're doing, and take care of yourselves, and come to the Centro. Come see us. I'm there Tuesdays, 1 to 2 p.m. usually. I'd love to talk to y'all.
Thank you so much, Pizarro, for sharing with us your story, but also for guiding us during with these amazing questions. We appreciate you, and we just really value you here at Centro. But next, it is my great honor to introduce my friend, Ashley Guerrero, who is the Associated Students Director of Intercultural Affairs. So fun fact about Ashley and how we got to know each other. Last year, we both were working at Centro together, and Yesenia's there too, so shout out to you, Yesi. But yeah, I know Ashley as a really caring person who is really passionate about the work. So I'm really proud of Ashley for entering her position as Director of Intercultural Affairs. I know you're doing an amazing job, and you will continue to do an amazing job. So Ashley, if you would like to say some words.
Hi everyone. It's so nice to be here. Thank you so much, Edwin, for the introduction. I just wanted to start off with thanking the Chicanx Latinx Center for inviting me to be here. I'm so excited to share what AS is all about. But as Edwin said, I'm Director of Intercultural Affairs for our Associated Students here on campus. So Associated Students is a nonprofit auxiliary organization that advocates and maintains the student voice through board of directors. We operate 9 departments that provide services such as AS funding. So if you're part of an organization and want to request funds, you can go through Associated Students. We also have our transportation solutions department. So if you ever got your Clipper card, that's through Associated Students. The print shop, the CCCAC, so this is our Travis Community Action Center, which has our garden off campus. So those are some of the few things that AS provide, resources AS provides. But I do want to emphasize the importance and power that Associated Students does truly have. It is through Associated Students that we were able to get the Chicanx Latinx Center opened. It was predecessors who had the role of Director of Intercultural Affairs. Sorry for the music. I'm out in public right now, but in the background. But yeah, so back in 2015, we had the AS Director of Intercultural Affairs alongside Director of Internal Affairs passed a resolution with the AS Associated Students Board of Directors that supported the creation of the Chicanx Latinx Center and the African American Student Resource Center. So thanks to AS, we were able to get centers like the Black Leadership Opportunity Center, also known as BLOC, Centro, and the Mosaic Cross-Cultural Center. So I just want to say, it's really important to, be student advocates. And I'm really, truly passionate about the work that AS does. So I did also want to give y'all a few heads up for some events we're having. I'm just gonna like shameless plug. I'm gonna drop it in the chat to make it easier, but we're having our grand reopening for the house next Thursday from 12 to 2. So we'll have free swag, food, and prizes alongside the following Monday, the 27th, the Campus Community Gardens Harvest Festival. So there'll be a reopening the garden with music, a tour of the garden, arts and crafts. And then last but not least, one of the most exciting things we're doing right now is the AS Operation Helping Hand. So we're helping raise funds for the international crises going on in Afghanistan and Haiti. So I'll drop the link here in the chat too, if anyone's interested in donating. So yeah, thank you so much. I just want to say thanks for like letting me speak at this event. And yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Muchas gracias, Ashley. It's so wonderful to have you back. And for those of you who might be interested in connecting with Ashley or maybe learning more about associated students, you can always, reach out to us. We can connect you to Ashley or other folks at Associated Students if you want to engage more. And next, I'm going to talk about Centro and some of the services that we offer. But before that, I want to introduce myself. My name is Elisa Aquino. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I'm the program coordinator at the Centro. And I'm here to talk to you about what is Centro and what we offer. So our physical space, we are actually located in the Student Union, room 1340. We're right across Jamba Juice by the food courts. I invite you all to come in, check out the space, meet some folks who are coming into Centro. We are a community building space / study space. A lot of folks use the space to, do homework, study, but at the same time, we try to remind folks every once in a while to take a break, meet some of the folks that are around you, or, some of the faculty members that come in, like Dr. Marcos Pizarro or Dr. Barrera, who might come in. And you never know who you might meet at Centro, which is the great thing about coming into the space, is that you might meet somebody new. We are also an academic support group where you can, learn from our faculty members who come in at Centro, who provide some of that mentorship. We have different workshops throughout the academic year to help you with any academic related questions that you might have. We have advisors who come in and do drop-in hours at Centro. And so, these drop-in hours are, which means is that you don't have to make an appointment to come in. Just come in, ask your questions, and we want to make sure that you get your questions answered, which is why they come to you. Some of the advisors might be coming in virtually to Centro, some of them might be coming in person, and so you can find more information on our social media, which is on our link tree down below. In the slide, you'll see we have our Instagram information, Facebook information, YouTube, so you can catch up on any events you might have missed. And then we also offer different cultural and social programs throughout the semester and academic year. So for example, one of our upcoming social events that is going to happen during the celebration of Latinx Heritage Month is our Loteria night. And we're gonna, play a friendly game of Loteria, build community with folks who come in. You might win some prizes if you come through, and you get to meet, some of the students, staff, and faculty members that come to our events, which is the most important thing of building community with one another. And we also offer different cultural events that celebrate our heritage, who we are, and to learn from one another. And so I invite you to follow us on our social media page, where you can find more information on the different events that will be happening throughout the semester, where we'll keep you updated with everything that is happening. We also offer personal support. Like I mentioned, we have different advisors that come in. We have different faculty members that come in to, build community, get to know you. And so because of that, you can always come in and ask any questions that you might have, because somebody will be here to support you, whether that's personally or academically, or maybe you just have any other questions that you want to know. We can connect with you in that way. We also offer leadership opportunities. So one of our events that is actually happening this year, and it happens every fall semester, is our Chicanx Latinx Student Leadership Retreat. And it happens every fall semester. This year it's going to be a virtual retreat, and it is a great place to, work on some of that leadership opportunity development and get to, meet some of the faculty members that work with us, learn from the students that come to the retreat, because that's how we learn. We learn from one another. And so I invite you all to stay tuned for that. You will be receiving more information via email / also the OHO newsletter. So stay tuned to find out how you can participate in the leadership retreat. And then lastly, we have peer mentorship and mentorship happening. We have our wonderful student success leaders, which, I think all of the student success leaders like Andy, like Edwin. We also have another group of student staff and student success leaders who weren't able to make it today, but they're very much a part of our team. And that is Karina Castro Perez Chica, Diana Navarrete, and Octavio Martinez. So, hopefully you come to Centro, you get to meet who they are and learn more about them, and vice versa. They want to learn more about you and who you are. And so a little bit about what they can do and how they can support you. They do provide peer mentorship. And so it's always good to learn more about, some of our past experiences as students, and if you're ever just wondering, what it was like for them to transition to San Jose State, or maybe how they were able to get more familiar being at the university, these are all conversations they can help you with, as well as connect you to different resources available on campus. And so, again, I want to, definitely, encourage you to come to Centro so that you can get to meet them. And then I have our website down here where you can click on that and learn more about our staff and get to read their bios. And hopefully, we can see you soon at Centro. All right. So up next, we have Elinda Yanez. And Elinda is going to be doing an introduction to Chicano and Chicana studies. I have the honor to introduce Elinda. Elinda Yanez has more than 30 years of experience in higher education, with much of that time spent in Chicana and Chicano studies. Last year, she was awarded the Spartan Spirit Award for her strong commitment to SJSU and the work she does in Chicana and Chicano studies. For her, it's the students that make her work so rewarding. And Elinda is also a strong supporter of the Chicanx Latinx Student Success Center. And I want to give her a warm welcome to the stage, to the virtual stage, and help me in welcoming Elinda.
Thank you, Elisa. I appreciate it. I want to thank the Centro for inviting me to be here tonight to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is Chicano studies. Welcome to all our students today and all our faculty and staff present. It's really great that you're here to be part of this community. And I actually I'm looking forward to the year ahead and getting to know more people. So like I said, San Jose is one of the best things I do at San Jose State is work at the Chicano Studies Department. It is a true honor to work there. We have a great faculty there. And I have to say, what makes our department the best, yes, our classes are awesome. And I think we offer a lot of courses that are interest to a lot of people, but it's really the people there. And it's our faculty like Dr. Pizarro, Dr. Barrera, and our new faculty, Dr. Ramirez, Dr. Vega, and then those of you who have worked with Dr. Gomez with the Culture Couch reading series. We have really wonderful faculty, and it's really easy for me to be out in the public and kind of be a cheerleader on the side talking about how great our department is. For those of you that don't know, besides great faculty, we have an awesome major. It's a 40-unit major that is designed to be a standalone one, but it's also a great fit for those of you looking to double major. Maybe you're interested, maybe you love your sociology major, but you also like Chicano studies. You don't have to choose. You can double major with us. We have 3 areas of emphasis that students can focus on. And I'll just give you a brief, it's cultural and creative expression, transnationalism, that one gets my tongue, and global relations. and institutions and community engagement. I think each of those all have something to offer to everybody. We've had great success. We've had recent students graduate. Maybe we're on our second alumni class, and they're out in the world. They're doing wonderful things. So if you're interested, please stop by, come talk to me. I'd be happy to talk to you and see how the major might fit with your plans. But if you're not interested in the major, maybe like, I don't think I want to do that. We have a minor. It's an 18-unit minor. And the wonderful thing about the minor is that many of our students, as they're completing GE units, they can count. If you're taking a GE class that's being offered by CCS, chances are it's going to count towards the minor. Many of our students take CCS 10A, B, and the CCS 74, the public address class. That's halfway to the minor. All you need is 3 more classes. So we have a lot of students who take that pathway. So if you're interested, that's an option. But okay, maybe your academic plan is full. You don't want a minor with us. You don't want a major with us, but you want to take something. Well, then I touched on it just a bit ago, but consider taking some of your GE courses with us. We have a number of GE classes. We are also starting to offer more courses in the area F, that's the ethnic studies requirement. And I can't tell you, I'm an alum from the department. If I could, I would take classes again because we have new faculty. They're doing exciting things. I hear from students all the time how life-changing. And I don't say that lightly because I do have students who come in and say CCS changed their life. It certainly changed my life for the better in many ways. So I invite you to come. And Dr. Barrera gave great advice. Be extra. That's wonderful. Are you afraid to try that out? Are you afraid to put yourself out there? Well, I want to invite all of you, any of you, come be extra in my office. Try out your skills or you're getting to know people's skills with me. I'm an easy person. I'm always available. I'm always happy to talk to students. Our department is a place where we're very student-centered and we welcome students to our space. So please come and visit and say hi if you're on campus. If not, we can always set up something over Zoom. So I don't want to go over my time. I just want to say thank you to everyone. Have a great evening, and I look forward to seeing you all in the breakout rooms. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Elinda, for some beautiful words and a reminder to take up all the space and be extra, be all of it. And I'm actually having flashbacks to like the times where pre-pandemic, I would literally live in Elinda's office, okay? Those are some of the best times in my college career, let me tell you. So I certainly invite y'all to head on over and aprovechar, take advantage of these moments and what our faculty and familia are offering, because those are sometimes the most life-changing and memorable moments. And now, without further ado, I would like to introduce Rosanna Alvarez. Rosanna Alvarez is a braided scholar and artist who lives poetically while sharing her life lessons as an educator, poet, and facilitator throughout the Bay Area. She's a native Chicana of East San Jose, the firstborn of 9 siblings, a mother of 3 fierce guerreras, a trucker's wife, and a cultura-driven social entrepreneur. Her life's work is grounded in her mission to embrace personal power through creative inspiration. She is the creative force behind Citlali Rose, the co-founder of Eastside Magazine and the voice of the Hella Chingona podcast. She currently teaches at De Anza College and San Jose State University. Welcome.
Yay. I don't know if I've been hearing everybody and seeing everybody's beautiful face, and it's been a week and still like I cannot stop smiling. And it has nothing to do with I'm about to speak to you in a different capacity. It has everything to do by way of what everybody just shared, right? Everybody's story is interconnected somehow. I remember sitting in Marco's classroom trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life way back when. And I'm glad I circled back and eventually became an alum of CCS myself with the master's program. So needless to say, I am very, very excited and grateful and humbled to be here with all of you in an amazing way. It's no accident that I would find myself full circle, home y entre familia. For those of you wondering who this greñuda on screen might be beyond any bio or CV, allow me to flow poetically, perhaps out of habit and certainly in honor of our legacy. You see, I am a constellation of so many we's. Stories of sacrifice, equal parts joy, jubilación y humor. Novela heartbreaks, pero también de mucho, mucho amor. I am a hybrid Chicana of sorts, not a rarity. Sometimes my life would be looking like some kind of sitcom or a parody. Growing up with 8 siblings in Eastside San Ho, never fitting anywhere, table for 10, much less in a box, while simultaneously, graciously, abrasively embraced by community in the full complexity of our reality. SJSU, a symbol of possibility that always, somehow, even at 16, felt like home to me. So, when the invitation was extended to share some remarks in this humble way, I found myself a little overwhelmed in that beautiful way, tapped into that sense of pride of where we come from, because who I am is a reflection of our collective history. And in that way, we serve as mirrors as we navigate the community of we on this academic journey. I see familia reflected in all of you, and I'm grateful for the opportunity I have to show up daily, speaking in sincerity amongst this serendipitous family. Beyond my role as an instructor or profe, that sense of pride in being among so much brilliance, which has been a part of our legacy and heritage intergenerationally and interculturally. Your stories becoming more than a ripple that reaches both forward and back. And perhaps many of us will find ourselves navigating problematic narratives. And because we're human, we might even find ourselves questioning if we belong. Given that our institutions are built on problematic histories, we won't be immune from the effects of all that mess. All the while, we'll be navigating life, our families, ese mentado imposter syndrome, perhaps love, a lot of times loss. Some of us might even find ourselves fumbling through grades and mountains of assignments from time to time. In this plática, I anchor myself in this bienvenida, being more than this moment. To many of us, a bienvenida can also be a sentiment. That sentiment we carry of being there for each other and among people who understand that this work is us demanding better in the face of so much injustice. It's a necessity, and it's one that's not really about empowering people so much as it is about illuminating, centering, and building with the power of the people. Centered, serving as mirrors, reflecting the capacity of our collective power. Rooted, it's that same sense of pride that moves me to channel these words with permission to flow bilingually. Although I might perhaps trip over my own tongue by way of the pocha that I am, even though Spanish was my first language. How ironic, no? My schooling has me fumbling on my first language while sometimes lost in the recovery of my native tongue. Maybe you'll notice my regional accent peeking through with a hint of Michoacan roots. Blame it on my dad, or maybe my abuelita. It's that same sense of pride in which I see and recognize your stories as a mirror, because they are the stories of our people. beautiful, messy, and grand. In a way, they're the same stories of my people and my family. Remembering, as I hold this palabra today, I reflect on and ground myself of the purpose of the invitation, la bienvenida. And the beauty of our culture comes to mind. And through that reflection, I stay in alignment with my costumbres as an Aztec dancer, gathering strength from the círculo while giving of my energía. And in that way, I get to this point by way of the generosity of your stories that you share along your journeys as you navigate your college chapters. Stories like mine as a first-generation college student, once upon a time, a long time ago. We won't count, we won't say when, but it felt like yesterday. That experience of being the first in my family to not only graduate from the university, but to also receive a master's degree and somehow manage to drop out of law school somewhere in between. And as the oldest of my family with 8 siblings, 4 sisters, and 4 brothers, y'all want some? I can donate. They're right there, they're grown though. Knowing that the sense of responsibility never runs out, that constant pressure of being the example. Stories like my dad's as an immigrant from Michoacan. He came to this country as a child, and although he managed to get a limited elementary education, he also established his real estate business, navigated community college to get his license, and he has this tremendous love for reading. That tremendous knowledge of our political history takes me to task, for sure, all while never having had the chance at a PhD. Reminding me that home is a bridge. Stories like my mom's who worked in the fields, even as a Chicana and a citizen of the US, she didn't have the opportunity to finish her studies in her youth. And even so, she had the tenacity because of her community to go back and navigate the Metropolitan Adult Ed program in order to graduate with a high school diploma, even with 7 kids in tow. Stories like my grandparents that instilled in us the value of caring for community as an extension of our family. Complex, messy stories like ours where the blessing of showing us our alas con el sí se puede, alongside the bittersweet, unnecessary fire of proving the folks who said we couldn't wrong, all while questioning why grown folks had my comadre, believing that she couldn't. And I see again that by habit or coincidence or perhaps practice, for sure, costumbre, we've given thanks to the 4 directions in our acknowledgements here, representing our comunidades. And so in that way, our work is an offering based on who we are. Because who we really are is who we come from, forged by our stories, our roots, our families, our community, nuestro centro. And toward that end, I come to this point. La bienvenida is like a danza ceremonia where we gather to remember and recalibrate our energy, grounded, rooted, remembering. We strive because of where and who we come from, not in spite of. Nos esforzamos por de dónde y de quién venimos, no a pesar de. In this space, we remember that we have the power to reshape those mainstream narratives that are stacked against us, that target us, that attack us. And that in spite of those narratives, we persevere because of who we are and where we come from. Las narrativas se apilan en nuestra contra y sin embargo perseveramos por quienes somos y de quienes somos. The problems in our society aren't because of who we are as a people, culture, or community. They're rooted in racism, discrimination, the lack of humanity in which we find ourselves, where people are vulnerable and targeted because of oppressive systems and the ongoing choices people make to reinforce that. And in this space of higher learning at San Jose State University, les extiendo la bienvenida al centro, el centro, the center. More than just a student success center, it's where we come to center ourselves in and with comunidad. El centro del círculo, de la comunidad, un lugar de honor, orgullo, belonging, the heartbeat. All on the eve del grito de la independencia, So when you find yourself struggling, questioning your belonging, remember la bienvenida. Come see us. When you find yourself thinking que ya no puedo más, remember el Centro and maybe play some Selena. When you find yourself feeling lost, center yourself with comunidad. We've got you. All of that is a poem in and of itself, I suppose. A grounding reminder that we're not in this alone. I know they say we're our ancestors' wildest dreams. And I often wonder, what if we were meant to be their most serene visions of what they always knew was possible? Grounded both in their sacrifices and their joys, rooted, strong, surrounded by a círculo of cariño and support, remembering to circle back. Y por mucho que el Centro es un lugar y local, así como un hogar, también nos sirve como una declaración de cómo estamos constantemente volviendo a casa, a nosotros mismos, a nuestras familias, hacia la justicia, en la construcción de un mundo más justo para todos. En las primeras semanas de este semestre he visto cuánto corazón cargan por medio de esas raíces. Ese sentido de familia y corazón. Y como he dicho hoy, de esa manera somos ventanas, espejos, puertas, destellos de donde hemos estado y a dónde somos capaces de ir. Y en cada semestre, aquí como maestra, veo ese conocimiento reflejado en las historias de estudiantes, las historias de todos ustedes, las historias de nosotros, de sus intereses y dónde encuentran curación, sanación, motivación para salir adelante mientras navegan su educación y su desarrollo como personas en este mundo. Familia, buenas amistades, historia, conexión, hasta música y cultura. La forma en que tu lenguaje es un canto hacia la liberación, el corazón que ancla nuestro trabajo como estudiantes en la universidad y cómo llevas a tus comunidades contigo en los espacios de donde exiges mejor por todos nosotros. Y aunque algunos de nosotros dejemos nuestras comunidades físicas, las traemos con nosotros siempre en todo lo que hacemos y lo compartimos en espacios como el Centro, encontrando nuestros apoyos, participando en la atención y el cariño comunitario, mientras recordamos no descuidar de nuestro propio cuidado en el proceso. La realidad es que vivimos en un mundo donde las narrativas de nuestro tiempo te pondrán a prueba. La realidad de que el cambio a veces puede ser lento y aún debes persistir y insistir, pero no solos. Recuerda que tienes comunidad. None of us have to do this alone. We have community. And at SJSU, we have El Centro. We have an expression in danza that says, sin danzante, no hay danza. Without a dancer, there is no dance. And by that same token, we have to remember that our círculos have always grounded us in that flow. So for as much as El Centro might be small and albeit a mighty space on campus, the impact it has as a community and círculo of support is beyond space and time. So I remind us, when you find yourself struggling, questioning your belonging, remember la bienvenida. When you find yourself thinking que ya no puedo más, remember El Centro. When you find yourself feeling lost, remember your Centro es comunidad. In closing, I was asked to leave you with a poem. So I thought about how the legacy of this work extends beyond today. In that organic way, and the words found me in that braided remix way, because poems are sincerity and the truth of our hearts shared on display. You see, we are not an afterthought. We are an exclamation. Your being here, a constant affirmation. Your ancestors' resistance and joy turned reclamation. Surviving and thriving in spite of indignation. These rhymes, a tender song of liberation. Refusing artificial boundaries of trepidation, homegrown scholars defying all short-sighted expectation, scientific processes shamefully advancing our damnation. Enter guerrilla poets, sometimes looking like profes, aligning overdue reconciliation. See, we've risen beyond waves across space and time of these chronically misconstrued timelines, existing phenomenally, giving life, como la luna, controlling the tides. See, where we come from is so much more than a well-manicured glass house, politicized beyond the lies. We are a people of cultura y corazón, herederos of círculos where the hummingbird flies, reminding us that in spite of all pretense, we continue to rise in cariño, centering ourselves in our sacredness, carrying where we come from and who we've always been. Poetry in action, in remembrance, centered, whole. You belong. Muchísimas gracias, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of your círculo, albeit series of squares for today. It's been a joy, a pleasure, and I look forward to meeting some of you virtually or in person, and I will always enable your extra. Ometeo.
Please help me unmute yourselves and help me give Rosanna a big round of applause. Muchísimas gracias.
Oh my God, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. It's absolutely muchas gracias.
This is why I invited Rosanna here with us this evening, because your keynote, although you did your poem al último, your whole keynote was a poem. And that was a gift to our community. And I'm so thankful that you are a part of this community and you continue to reach out to every single person who's interested in being a part of this. And I want to just share very quickly just some themes that I picked up from your plática. Thank you, first of all, for sharing your unique story with us, with our community, for sharing your words of wisdom and advice, but also most importantly, the affirmations that you're leaving us with. So many messages. I saw some in the chat, so thank you. But I loved what you talked about, the constellations of the many we's, the people, acknowledging and honoring the people that have come before us. We stand on the shoulders of so many amazing people, not just leaders in our community, but our own family members, right? Our mothers, Marcos talk about estíos, our grandparents, our cousins, our siblings, remembering them and honoring them, not just during 1 month. We're celebrating Latinx Heritage Month, but you also talked about, making sure that we're celebrating them todos los días, celebrating and honoring and recognizing the many contributions of our community aquí, and especialmente en los Estados Unidos. So remember to illuminate, I take away the illumination and the centering of our collective. So much power in that. So muchas gracias, Rosanna, for your words and your poetry and your art and your gift with us this evening. So we are going to transition now, and we're going to be inviting all of you to engage with us in some conocimiento. So to start off, I'm Lily Pinedo Gancay, and I'm the program director of the Chicanx Latinx Student Success Center. My pronouns are she and her. And I'm going to be inviting all of us today to engage in this conocimiento, so we have an opportunity to get to know who makes up this amazing collective here at San Jose State. We have faculty here with us tonight, we have staff, we have community members, we have parents in the house, and then of course our amazing students. We want to get to know you. We hear themes of wanting to feel collected or connected, especially right now during this hybrid mode that we're in. Some of you are taking classes online, some of us are here in person. You're doing a combination of both. The Centro is not seeing as much activity as we did pre-pandemic, so this is an invitation for those of you who feel comfortable being here to come to the physical Centro. We are here, we are present, and we're here to support you. So we're gonna move into some conocimiento via some breakout rooms. So we're going to be placing you in some breakout rooms. We're going to spend about 15 minutes here with one another. So for our students, I'm inviting you to share your name, your pronouns, your class level, your major, and if you're undeclared, let us know what your intended major is, your hometown. Do you identify as first in your family to go to college? Are you living on campus or off campus? And if you're off campus, let us know what that commute is like. I recognize some folks are coming from 2 hours away just to come to campus. Are you taking online classes in person or a combination? And then lastly, answer just one of the following open-ended questions. First one being, what is one of your greatest accomplishments? This could be a personal, academic, work-related accomplishment that you're most proud of, and please tell us why. You might want to answer as the academic year begins, what are you most excited about? And I know some of you have already started sharing that with us in the chat earlier as we started. And lastly, what questions or concerns do you still have as it relates to your time here at San Jose State? Don't worry, we're going to put these here in the chat for you so that you don't forget what these are, but feel free if you have your phones right now to get in tomar foto, take a picture so that they're here. I am going to be inviting you, depending on how many people we can get in the room. You might be in a room with a faculty member or staff members. You know, it might just be you all as students. I'm gonna ask you, right? We were talking about being extra and taking some risks this evening. So if you're in your room and it's awkward silence, I'm going to ask one of you to take the lead and facilitate the conversación with one another. Y luego, for our faculty and staff and community members who are in this space, very similarly, your name, pronouns, title, department, your hometown. If you attended college, do you identify as first in your family to go to college? Which college did you attend? And maybe other schools that you attended, your primary, secondary education. And then answer just one of the following open-ended questions. What do you enjoy the most about San Jose State? How are you or can you be a resource to students? Or what piece of advice do you have for students as they transition to this new academic year? So I'm going to go ahead and put the questions here in the chat so that you all have access to them, and we will also be broadcasting them. So go ahead and copy and paste those, or like I mentioned, if you wanted to take a picture of it, you could do that as well. We're also going to be broadcasting them once you go into your breakout rooms. So we'll spend about 15 minutes here. You'll be asked to join a room, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
It will be held by Doctora Jessica Castillo Verdadero. To register, you can click the link tree for Centro, and there will be information to sign up so that we can have your email again and send you more info. We also have an event on Tuesday, September 21st at 7 p.m. with Gabi Rivera, which is part of the Spartan Speaker Series. If you're interested in comics and just learning a little bit more about their process as a writer, I invite you to come check that event out. And we also have the Latinas in Leadership event that will be held on Tuesday, September 28th from 12 to 1:30 p.m. If you're interested in any of these events, please go ahead and follow us at our link tree, and the link will be there to sign up and register for these events.
And Andy, I'm going to maybe put them on the spot. I'm trying to see if they're here. Yes, I see you. Dr. Castillo Verdadero, since you're in the space, I just want to welcome you, say hello. Can you share a little bit more of what our students can expect if they come to your workshop mañana?
Yeah, so tomorrow we have a student and alumni panel. It's called Surviving and Thriving in STEM at SJSU. So students are going to share one piece of advice that they wish they had known when they were starting at SJSU, and then have a little bit of a discussion, and then open it up for you all to ask them any questions that you want about what it was like as a student at SJSU. So I think half of them are seniors and some alumni, and they are from a bunch of different majors in STEM.
Thank you so much. It's going to be an exciting series, so don't miss out. And again, if you can't attend the day of, You could always check us out. The recordings are going to be recorded, so you always go to our YouTube channel. So as Andy said, visit our Linktree account. That's where you have access to all of our social media handles and also our YouTube, our website, our email. So make sure you follow up with us, and you are invited to, we have a lot of amazing events and programs coming up to celebrate Latinx Heritage Month. También porque they're here and I see them in the chat, I'm going to invite Fernanda to share a little bit about some of the programming that's going to come out of the Office of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion in celebration of Latinx Heritage Month. Fernanda?
Thank you, Lily. Hi, everybody. My name is Fernanda Perdomo-Arciniegas. I am the Deputy Diversity Officer in the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and I'm battling a little bit of cough, so apologies if I cough during this short speech. Anyway, yeah, we do have some events planned for Hispanic Heritage Month. The first one of them is September 27th. It's going to be a conversation, it's a plática, it's a conversation with two Colombian journalists from Canal Capital and Presunto podcast. They are Sara Trejos and Santiago Rivas, and this presentation is actually going to be in Spanish with English translation. So you'll see a Zoom, a flyer coming out with the Zoom link for registration. This is really exciting because what we are going to be, and I'm going to be interviewing them, is they're going to be talking about the situation, the marches that happened in Colombia in the last 18 months, as well as in Chile, Mexico, Brazil, and the impact that BLM had in Latin America. I think sometimes we need to look beyond our own backyard, and there are a lot of things that the youth can teach us from Latin America here in the US. So that is one. The second one is on October 30th. This is kind of like an out-of-the-box event. Some of you might know that I'm a runner, and I am a very passionate one. But I also work with organizations that work on diversifying running as a sport, and also that take up on causes that promote the diversity, but also speak on social justice issues. So on the October 30th, we're going to have a run, first inaugural San Jose Legacy run around the perimeter of San Jose State with the new African-American Director of Athletics for track and field and cross country, as well as several groups from San Jose and the Bay Area who are going to be joining us. It's going to be a morning of celebration, a couple hours in the perimeter of the university, where we'll be having, we're going to give, perhaps, I don't know yet if medals are going to be given and stuff, but it's going to be a celebration of community. So we're also going to highlight one of the newest groups in the area, which is Latinos Run San Jose, which focuses on the East Side neighborhood, and it's run by obviously by Latinx, and inviting several families and several communities that live in that area. And the last one, we still don't have a date for that one, but it's also going to touch upon the Latinx community partnering up with the Latina Coalition Silicon Valley, where we're going to be talking about environmental issues, and for that I still have the TBD as the date. So you will find out a little bit more through the Centro newsletter and through our newsletter as well. And I'm sorry, my dog is decided to speak at this point as well. So thank you, Lily, for the invitation.
Muchas gracias, Fernanda. And with that, as you can see, a wealth of information and knowledge that Centro and our community provides to each and every one of you. So muchas gracias for joining us at this amazing La Bienvenida. We hope in the future this could be in person. We usually host it inside of the Grand Ballroom. The last time we had almost close to 500 people in the space con comida y música. Pero aquí estamos. I wish you all continued health and good luck this rest of the semester. Aquí estamos para servirles. Stay in touch. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Y nos vemos. Y la música, Elisa, to close us off. Thank you to all of our amazing speakers.